Okay, let's talk about something you might have seen on a report card that just feels a little weird, that minimum estimated grade, or MEG. If you've ever looked at one and felt kind of confused, or maybe even a little bit stressed out, yeah, you're definitely not alone. So, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. Because that's exactly what a MEG feels like, right? It's this number that's supposed to be about you, but it doesn't feel like a score you actually earned. So what on earth is it? First up, let's pull back the curtain on this mysterious number. What is it, and where in the world does it even come from? Here's the absolute biggest thing you need to know. Your MEG is not a prediction. Let me say that again. It is not a crystal ball. It's what we call a statistical estimate. Basically, they look at the results of thousands, and I mean thousands, of students across the country who had similar exam results to you in the past. Then they figure out what grade those students typically achieved. It's all about big data and averages, not about you personally. Let's dig into that a little more, because a MEG is really just a story told by data. And it's important to remember, it's not your story. It's a summary of thousands of other stories. So, how do they write that summary? The whole process is run by a model from an organization called the Fischer Family Trust, or FFT for short. First, it takes your past exam results, like your SATs if you're working towards GCSEs, or your GCSEs if you're studying for A-levels. Then it finds a huge group of students with the exact same starting point as you. Finally, it looks at what all those students went on to achieve and calculates the average. That's pretty much it, just a big data crunching exercise. Now here's a really crucial detail. Your school gets to choose the level of challenge. They might set your target at FFT 50, which is the straight-up average outcome for students with your background. But they could also set a more aspirational target, like FFT 20, which is the grade achieved by the top 20% of those same students. So you see, the target you're given isn't just raw data. It's also about your school's goals for you. Alright, this next part is maybe the most important section of them all, because there are so many myths floating around about what a MEG actually means for you. So let's bust them one by one. Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. Your MEG is not a test of how smart you are. It's not a crystal ball telling you what your final grade will be. And most importantly, it's not a limit, a cap, or a ceiling on what you're capable of achieving, not even close. Your MEG is just a statistical starting point based on past data. It's not the finish line, and it's certainly not your destiny. The path you take from that starting point is entirely up to you. So if it's not a prediction and it's not a limit, then what is it actually for? Why do schools even use them? Well, it's meant to be a tool, not a rule. For your teachers, it's a useful guide to help them plan lessons and figure out where you might need a little extra support. For you, it can give a rough idea of how you're doing compared to the national picture. And for schools, it helps them see if they're helping students make good progress. It's just a signpost. Let that one sink in. Your MEG is there to help guide the way and maybe motivate you, but it is never, ever there to put a ceiling on your ambition. With all that in mind, we get to the most important part of the whole equation, the one thing the statistics can never account for, you. I love this quote, it just nails it. The data shows the average, the typical outcome. But you are not an average. You are an individual. And your potential is all about what's possible. Think about it. A number on a spreadsheet can't measure your hard work after a tough lesson. It can't measure your curiosity that makes you want to learn more. It can't measure your resilience when you bounce back from a mistake. It can't measure your determination, your choices, and ultimately, your true potential. You are the variable that changes the entire outcome. And that's the big takeaway from all of this. That number is just one tiny piece of information. You are the one holding the pen. You get to write your own story. So remember that the next time you see a MEG, the data simply shows a starting point based on the past. The real question is, where will you choose to go from here? The finish line is all up to you,